Chapter 61:35. Claire was on the side. He couldn't help but muttered. "Husband, Dad is not sensible and you are not sensible either. Don't get involved in this kind of thing." "No," Charlie said with a smile, "I also want to help Dad a little bit. This kind of thing must not be above the law. Otherwise, if things get serious and Dad is involved, I will not have the ability to get him out." As he said, he also reminded Jacob meaningfully, "Dad, I understand that you are angry. But I heard that Irvin is now following Orville. You must not let him use his methods to solve this matter. Otherwise, if something serious happens, if he gets hurt, they'll sentence you to 5 or 8 years. Which will be a big loss. Mom has experience in this area, and life there is not easy." Jacob didn't have any extra wisdom, so he couldn't think of any way to take revenge. His idea was very simple, that is, let Irvin take a few people to follow him to the antique street and beat Peter violently. But now when he heard Charlie say this, he couldn't help but feel a little scared. So he could only mutter depressedly, "Even if I can't beat him half to death, I should slap him dozens of times. Otherwise, wouldn't those slaps I received in the first place be in vain?" Claire immediately said, "You can slap people in the face, but if they call the police after the slap, then you are intentionally hurting and provoking trouble. At the least, you will be detained for 15 days, and at the worst, you will be put in jail for a few months. You can weigh it yourself." Jacob argued with a red face. "When they beat me, why didn't the police arrest them?" Claire asked him, "Then why didn't you call the police?" "Should I call the police?" Jacob said angrily. "I smashed their vase, and they asked me to pay more than 5 million yuan. I was afraid of hearing the amount and ran away." "You asked me to call the police?" Claire looked at him and said very seriously, "You didn't call the police at that time? It's because you know that you are in the wrong and they have nothing to blame. If you go to beat them now, why don't they call the police?" Jacob was speechless for a moment and could only look at Charlie and said expectantly, "Good son-in-law, you show feng shui to rich and powerful people everywhere. So your connections must be very strong. If I hit Liang Yun and he calls the police, can you help me find some connections?" Charlie shook his head without hesitation and said, "I can't find any. Can't find any at all." After that, he added, "I have an acquaintance in the detention center. If you go in, I can find someone to take care of you." Jacob sighed dejectedly. He has always been timid. But he did not dare to act like a horse. Like his wife, he doesn't through the torture of the detention center. However, he regained his composure after a while, clenched his fists and said, "It's okay, in the worst case, I'll find another way to get revenge. No matter what, since he dares to return to Aurus Hill, I will never spare him. If I don't get this situation back, how will I hang out in the antique street in the future?" After saying that, he turned around and left the restaurant without saying anything more. Claire looked at Charlie helplessly and said, "Husband, you must always take good care of Dad and don't let him cause trouble outside." Charlie nodded lightly, "Don't worry, wife, I will do it." The two cleaned up the restaurant together, and when they came out, Jacob was sitting on the sofa in the living room, drinking tea and watching TV. As for Elaine, she stayed by Jacob's side with a rare smile on her face, constantly helping him refill his water and add tea. Seeing Charlie and Claire come out, Elaine quickly greeted them and said, "Claire, Charlie, you two come and sit for a while and try how Mom makes the tea." The two looked at each other and then sat down on the sofa. While pouring tea for the two of them, Elaine said to Claire with a smile, "By the way, Claire, Mom was so busy being angry with your dad that I forgot to ask you. You went to the United States to help that Miss Fay this time? How much did she give you?" Claire said a little unnaturally, "Miss Fay gave me 2 million. "Only 2 million? Elaine was immediately disappointed and said angrily, "Okay, son-in-law can charge tens or even millions to show someone feng shui. You went to help her and worked for so long, and she only gave you 2 million? That's too stingy." Claire, he said awkwardly, it's 2 million US dollars. What? US dollars? Elaine suddenly exclaimed, how much is 2 million US dollars? What is the exchange rate today? Jacob on the side quickly picked up his mobile phone to check. After checking, he blurted out, today's exchange rate is 7.2 yuan. There you go. Elaine said excitedly, so, 2 million US dollars. That's more than 14 million. My dear, oh, more than 10 million. Our family has become rich. Claire said hurriedly, I didn't expect Miss Fay to give so much. She asked me to apply for a card at JP Morgan in the United States and said it was normal wages and subsidies. I didn't expect to receive $2 million from Fay's group just before I got on the plane. She said it was for my hard work, but I didn't do much work. So how could I ask for so much money? So all the way here I was thinking about how to give her back some of it. Elaine said quickly, my dear girl, are you stupid? Are you really stupid? Since they gave it to you, you can take it with peace of mind. What's the deal with people retreating? Isn't this spitting in someone's face? Claire frowned and said, Mom, what you said is too disgusting, is this the same thing? Of course, it's the same thing, Elaine said righteously. Rich people care about face. If you don't want money if they give it to you, then you don't give them face. Isn't that just like spitting in someone's face? After that, she quickly comforted her and said, good girl, just hold on to this money and don't be stupid, you know? Claire said frankly, Mom, I didn't actually help them much when I went to the United States. And that project progress is not going well, and there are still disputes. Maybe Ms. Fay's previous investment will be in vain. How can I get so much money? It's too weird to hold. Hey! Elaine curled her lips and said, this is the first time I heard someone say that money is still hot. If it were me, let alone 2 million US dollars, even if it were 2 red-hot gold bars, I would never put it in my pocket. It's too hot.